Hi everyone, my name is Sophia, and I am going to talk to you about the story The Midnight Robber, written by Nalo Hopkinson in 2000. So, before telling you my thesis statement, I would like to say that this story, it impressed me a lot since it was not what I expected at all. It touched topics that I didn't thought they would talk about, but yeah, I really enjoyed this reading. So for my thesis statement, I would like to talk to about the duality in Tantan's personality that she needed to confront life. So when having this thesis statement, the three main ideas to support it are actually three words. Uh, I chose three words because they were like some of the first words that come to mind when trying to understand from where Tantan's personality came from and how certain characteristics started to develop and come part of her. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well. So these words summarize this process of the protagonist and her character development as well. So the first word is admiration, and since the beginning of the story, we see how Tantan, being a little girl, she finds her childhood hero, who is the Midnight Robber. And at a part of the story, it says she would show him. She would be scarier than him. She would be the Robber Queen. Being this her favorite Caribbean carnival character, she practices pieces of her. She even looks at the mirror and practices them, and also she even wears the costume of the Midnight Robber, and she even wears it for 2 days. She would even take it off. She would ask the Eshnu things about the Midnight Robber. She would tell her to tell her stories and other things, and all of these things show how much she admires this character and the and his characteristics. But at the same time, this got me thinking why did she show so much admiration for this character and she didn't show the same amount of admiration towards her parents? Which brings me to the second main idea, which is abandonment. Since the beginning also of the story, we see a family that although they live together, they actually are absent parents in this family. We see a mother who is having affairs with other men, and a dad who spends his time working as the mayor of this planet, Planet Toussaint. And all she's left with was Nercy and the Eshnu. And here is a quote that I'm going to tell you now. No one else would pay. No one else would play with her, so she talked to the Eshnu, not just for her lessons in math and history and art, but for all the questions the grown-ups wouldn't answer for her. So yeah, this quote says how she just felt she like she was more attached to the Eshnu because it was always there. She could ask the Eshnu anything. She could play with it. She could have conversations with it. Something that she didn't have with her parents. And the second abandonment that we see in the story is when she leaves the planet of the saint with her father to go to the prison planet, which was a New Halfway Tree. Here she leaves behind something that molded her, that construct her in her childhood, and goes to this other world, which is the opposite. Planet Toussaint was super technological, and Halfway Tree was very primitive. It only had fire and no rules, and yeah, it was primitive. That's the word. And second of all, third, third, second of all, the third thing is the third abandonment because, and this is the most important one. It was the abandonment of when she abandons. Oh my God, abandonment. Okay, so the third one is when she abandons her body the instant she's being violated by her dad. And since this moment, she started creating hateful and vengeful thoughts towards her father, and this was like creating this other personality of Tenten, and this personality she calls it Bad Tenten. But okay, since this point it was Bad Tenten only existed in her thoughts. The first time Bad Tenten comes to action is when she actually kills her father. And here she says that Bad Tenten like was the one who did that. But in my opinion, was it really a Bad Tenten? Because if we like analyze it, the things that she went through with her dad, she wasn't being bad. She was like taking this courage to like show herself like self-respect and to do what was correct. And to me, this act that she does, even though it was like killing her dad, it was what she needed to do because she would have been violated like 3 times already by her dad. So it was like she was like had no words, no power. She felt powerless, and when this Bad Tenten comes out, it was like a sign of self-love and respect. And here's this quote: "It's love that get the robber queen born," and that's true. And the third main idea is development. With this character, we experience character development since we see Tenten change from this young girl who grows and turns into this woman who experiences a lot of things that are the things that mold her actually to who she really turns out to be, this woman, and how she becomes even stronger with these things that she went through. And I like how instead of remaining silent, she decides to use her voice and confront reality. And instead of calling her Bad Tenten, I would have called her like something like Justice Tenten, or yeah, because that's what she did. So maybe Justice Tenten will be a great another name for Bad Tenten, in my opinion. So also according to the Doen Justice, Tenten will only be free when she gives back 2 lives for the one she took. And in my opinion, she did. Because she gave birth, and that's 1 life. And also, she saved herself when she found the strength and courage he needed in this character, which was the Midnight Robber. So here are the 2 lives that she saved: hers and giving birth. So also another thing, it was that at the beginning of the story, the Eshnut said only men used to play the robber king, which says how much this position of power, because it was a man, but even though it was a man, she found like she wanted to be like that, and it was her hero since she was a child. And besides what everyone says, the abandonment and the suffering, she rises above this traumatic past and slowly evolves from a scared young girl into her own incarnation of the robber queen. And by this, I think like she reclaims her place in human society and as an empowered woman. So to me, the story shows like this feminist power, I can say. So yeah. And then with the second question is, what are some ethical and moral implications of the literature? So to me, there's a lot of lack of ethic and moral implications in this literature. There's absence of the moral, and it's presented with Ayong, the mother, when she is not being loyal and she's with another man while being with Tenten's dad, Antonio. And also, Antonio to me is the one that lacks the most with about with ethic and moral. Because you know why. If you read the story, you know why. Because he has no respect towards his daughter. His responsibility as the dad goes like right down the drain, and he has no integrity at all. So to me, for this literature, like this phrase would have changed this and would include more positive moral and ethic implications if it used more the famous phrase of not doing to others what we will not like them to do to us. If they did this, in my opinion, the story will be so much different. So then, the other question, why do you think this literature is considered science fiction? I think this literature is considered science fiction because of the advanced science and technological innovation it presents. For example, they had the Eshnu, which was this mental voice within the head that provides in this information upon request. And also there was the granny nanny that was like maybe like this religious person that had control of everything that happened and care about the well-being of the people. And also the with the existence of two planets, it's like this imaginary futuristic version of how society should work. And then why do you think this work is an important contribution to the current science fiction? Well, I think this work is such an important contribution to this curse since in comparison to the other stories that we've read in class, the Midnight Robber offers like this different story which involves different cultures, and to me it's like the first time we see a oh my god, how do you oh my god, I jumped one question. I'm going to jump right to that one in just a second. So talking again about the contribution of the so yeah, I think that the how they this mix of science fiction with cultures in the Caribbean, I've never seen this mix. I think never. So that's why I think it's a great contribution to this curse. And let me see what else. Yeah. So is the literature hard or soft science fiction? Well, in my opinion, it has a lot of soft science fiction. The Midnight Robber shows that these divisions of planets, there's the planet Hussein and the New Halfway Tree, and it shows like planet Hussein is like more organized and it has this superior system that I already told you, the Granny Nanny, while the prison planet is more primitive and they're very different. And these divisions, for me, the ones with the prisoners and the ones that are free, shows the society class divisions and privileges. And also with showing the traditions, cultures, and social manifestations such as the carnival, is soft science fiction. And also how the book presents this Caribbean dialect, which at first was hard to understand, but then as you keep reading, you get used to it. So to me, this characteristics is what makes it more soft science fiction. And then the questions that I have for you. Number one, how did you felt reading a book that's not based in North American or European influence, but with Caribbean? To me, I've never seen anything like this. And maybe yes, okay, no, I haven't read anything like this. I was going to talk to you about the Black Panther, but no, that's not Caribbean. That's not Caribbean. Okay, forget about that. Okay. And second question is, this is a story of a futuristic society that includes people of color. Why do you think that, based on the other sci-fi readings we've had in class, there's no mention of people of color? I know that we're going to see Black Panther, but to me, I don't recall any of the other stories including people of color. So that's the second, and I have a third one. It's like a bonus. So here it goes. Do you consider yourself to have dual personality. In my opinion, everyone has dual personality. I I do think I have a dual personality, and I use each one in different situations. So yeah, I would like to see what you guys think and see your answers and just share our opinions. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoy the reading. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thank you. Have a good night if you're seeing it at night, or have a good day if you're seeing it at day. Thank you.